Hebrews. This is our Prophets of Awakening. This is our Sunday Advanced Bible Study, the 9th of February, 2025. I'll be dealing with out of the book of Enoch. We'll be watching the video and then we'll listen and break that down. Okay, some interesting information in there, so we're gonna check that out. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at and examine. These videos will lead you to the connect dots for you and lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. This is a non-Messianic channel. For those that don't know, we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament, which consists of our laws, our statutes, judgments, our precepts, according to what the Lord of hosts, our Redeemer, gave Moses. Okay. Shalom and welcome to this channel, and welcome to our Sunday Advanced Bible Study. Okay, we're gonna do our normal. We do the moment of silence. We do a prayer, Psalms. Then we have some current events, some need to know information. Then we open it up for Q&A and some dialogue. Then we go into our subject, which is we'll be dealing with the book, a video out of the book of Enoch, some information out of the book of Enoch. Okay. Then got a little recap from what happened during the week, and then we'll pick a scripture and close out. Okay. So this moment of silence for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. Oh Lord, we come before thee at this hour and at this time to thank thee and to praise thee for thy strength and thy great power. We appreciate your presence and your patience and your understanding. Okay. Therefore, we come this day seeking love, wisdom, consistency of spirit, patience, and understanding. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, I'll read the Psalms. Okay. Okay, I'll read Psalm 66. It's the great works of God, right? It's a psalm to the chief musician. Okay. Make a joyful noise unto the God, all ye lands. Sing forth the honor of his name. Make his praise glorious. Say unto God, how terrible art thou in thy works. And through the greatness of thy power shall thy enemies submit themselves unto thee. All the earth shall worship thee and shall sing unto thee. They shall sing unto thy name. Selah, come and see the works of God. He is terrible in his doings toward the children of men. He turned the sea into dry land. They went through the flood on foot. There did we rejoice in him. He ruled by his power forever. His eyes behold the nations. Let not the rebellious exalt themselves. Selah. O bless our God, ye people, and make the voice of his praise to be heard, which held our souls in life and suffers not our feet to be moved. For thou, O God, hast proved us. Thou hast tried us as silver is tried. Thou broughtest us into the net. Thou layest afflictions upon our loins. Thou hast caused men to ride over our heads. We went through fire and through water, but thou broughtest us out into a wealthy place. I will go into thy house with burnt offerings, and I will pay thee my vows, which my lips have uttered, and my mouth has spoken when I was in trouble. I will offer unto thee burnt sacrifices of fatness with the intent of rams, okay, with the incense of rams, and I will offer bullocks with goats. Selah, come and hear, all ye that fear God, and I will declare what he hath done for my soul. I cried unto him with my mouth, and he was extolled with my tongue. if I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord will not hear me. But verily, God have heard me and have attended to the voice of my prayer. Blessed be God, which have not turned away my prayer, nor his mercy from me. Okay, that was Psalm 66. Anybody have any comments on that? Okay, so let me see where I was at. So he says right here in verse 6, he turned the sea into the dry land. We know that's in Egypt. They went through the flood on foot. There did we rejoice in him. So we see who this is. It's the Lord of hosts. In verse 3, say unto God, how terrible art thou in thy works, and through the greatness of thy power shall thy enemies submit themselves unto thee. So we see an example of how great his power is by the 10 plagues when he came to Egypt. The 10 plagues that he rendered on the Egyptians to release the Israelites, our forefathers. Okay. So with that being said, like I said, I'll play these current events. I'll play them and then we'll talk about them. Okay, the first one I want to deal with is okay.
In a bold move that's sending ripples through the economic landscape of Burkina Faso, President Ibrahim Traoré has opened up 2 key industries to public finance while simultaneously rejecting World Bank aid. This groundbreaking decision is set to revolutionize the way the country approaches development and economic growth. But what does this mean for the average Burkinabe citizen? And how could this unconventional approach reshape the future of this West African nation? Let's dive deep into this exciting new chapter in Burkina Faso's economic story. Imagine a country where every citizen has the opportunity to become a stakeholder in major industries. That's exactly what Ibrahim Traoré is aiming for with his latest initiative. By opening up 2 crucial industries to public finance, he's not just changing the economic game, he's rewriting the rules entirely. This approach is a stark departure from the traditional model of development that many African countries have followed for decades. Instead of relying on foreign aid or loans from international financial institutions, Traoré is turning to his own people to fund the country's growth. It's a strategy that's as bold as it is innovative. But why is this approach so revolutionary? For starters, it puts the power of economic development directly into the hands of the people. Instead of being passive recipients of development projects, Burkinabe citizens are now active participants in their country's economic growth. This shift in perspective could have far-reaching implications for how development is approached, not just in Burkina Faso, but across the African continent.
So I'm gonna stop it right there. So we already know what's happening with Ibrahim Traoré and those other 2 countries that's with him, and how fast everything is switching around, right? And we had this week, beginning of the week, we was dealing with the video that I constantly play all the time about Pastor Manning and the things that he was saying, man, which was maybe I think around 2012 or whatever, and people was thinking was assuming that he a nut bucket from the things he was saying, right? So one of those things he said was that it's gonna not in a not too distant future, Boule leaders was gonna be ended up being presidents over in Africa, right? Check this out. This happening so fast because check it out.
Let us now shift our focus to Nigeria, where a committee of lawmakers have proposed a controversial legislation. The government wants to create 31 new states across the West African country, taking the total number of states to 67. This is to address the growing demands of improving the economy and administrative efficiency in certain regions. However, the legislative move has been met with criticism. Experts believe that creating 31 new states would worsen the financial woes of Nigeria. Our next report gets you the details.
So they trying, like I said, you got to know what they got to find some kind of way they're not going to stop it because it's prophecy, but they're trying to find some kind of way to cut off what's happening, which is, I keep saying it over and over again. Isaiah 60, the forces of the Gentiles being converted back to us. So that's what they're trying to cut off. So here we go.
Else.
In the West African country of Nigeria, lawmakers have finally paid heed to a long-standing demand of the population, that of providing greater representation and regional autonomy. In a controversial legislative move, Nigeria's House of Representatives Committee on Constitution Review has recommended creating 31 new states across the country. This would increase the number of states in the country to 67 from 36, a significant restructuring of Nigeria's federal system. The committee has proposed creating 6 new states in the north-central part of Nigeria from Benue and Kogi provinces. Then it recommended the creation of the Federal Capital Territory of Abuja as a state.
Right, so what you need to do, keep your eye on it. Yeah, so it's coming. And that's the biggest country in Africa right now. They gotta, if they're gonna do what they're gonna cut off what's happening in Africa, they're gonna try to do it right there in Nigeria. That's the power.
Shalom.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Shalom. Yes, sir. When it was talking earlier, I thought about Nehemiah when he went back. You mentioned last night about building the walls, so they all up in that. Also, I was looking at the effects of this aid that they were giving to all the African nations that they have frozen, and I'm just concerned about that.
Well, with the video, our first video I played was Abraham Tory rejected the funding. And he, you know what I'm saying? You understand what he's doing? So everybody is aspiring to what they see in him doing. So,
Okay.
So that's what they got cut off.
Okay.
Cut off. So here we go right here. I don't know if anybody heard about this, but let's play this right here. So like I said before, they got to try to stop what we're looking at. Here we go.
Welcome to the African Diaspora News channel. My name is Viola Tungwelo. We are coming to you all the way from South Africa.
This was yesterday.
Today we're going to talk about why are they after Ibrahim Traore? Because the latest is that the assassination attempt on Ibrahim Traore. Why? I think this is a plot to silence the Africa's rising revolutionary leader. I'm going to give you 5 key reasons on why I think they are after a great leader. I mean, why? These are the 5 reasons on why they are targeting him. One will be challenging the neo-colonial powers. Traore's outspoken stance against foreign exploitation and his push for African resource control have threatened powerful external interests. Right. So we're also going to get into point number 2 on why. He's also resisting foreign influence. His refusal to align with Western agendas and prioritizing African sovereignty has made him a target for destabilization efforts. Another one will be his inspiring continental change. Traore's leadership style and Pan-African vision are mobilizing other nations to follow his path, disrupting established power dynamics. He's also empowering the youth by championing youth involvement in politics and governments. Traore is challenging entrenched elites who feel threatened by his progressive policies. And last one will be opposition to corruption and exploitation. Now, his crackdown on corruption and prioritizing of the people's welfare undermines those profiting from the status quo, both domestically and internationally. Let me know, what do you think? Leave your comments, like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you on the next one.
Okay, any comments on that? So like I said, they got to try to bring, and they got to do it fast. They ain't got no time to waste. So I just showed you how they trying to add 36 states to Nigeria. Well, check this out. Like I said, all this stuff moving in hyper speed. Here we go.
I bring you your children, descendants of the formerly enslaved. They have waited over 400 years to return the spirits of their ancestors back home to Africa. When the children of Africa were taken out of Africa as slaves, all they ever wanted to do was to come back home to Africa. Each and every one of them that you see, many of them are coming to Africa for the first time. They're bringing with them the spirits of their ancestors to put them to rest here in Burkina Faso.
I am moved and very happy to see you here in Burkina Faso since the events of the SNC. It is more than a pleasure that you have chosen to come here to Burkina. You have surely been told that it is a country frequentable. We told you that it's death here, it's war.
C'est un pays infréquentable. On vous a dit que c'est la mort ici, c'est la guerre. Il n'y a que du négatif.
There is only negative. We painted Burkina black here, only blood flows, weapons. This is what is said elsewhere. Thank God you arrived safely. You were able to be about the lasso, live with us, our culture. What binds us Africans, you were able to communicate.
Être à propos du lasso, vivre avec nous notre culture, ce qui nous lie, nous Africains.
With many other nationalities who came to celebrate with us, everything went very well. You are a bar standing, and I hope that you are very well received, very well lodged, and that you managed to communicate with your brothers here. It is one important message that you send to.
Hello, Black brothers and sisters. I hope you're all doing fine. I'm sharing this page by Dr. Rikana and Ibrahim Traore, where they are calling out the Western countries to stop interfering into the affairs of Black people. Now, they are calling out all African countries and Black people around the world to unite. And they say this is the time the Black children who are outside Africa to come back home. So let's watch this video, then have a very quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
To President Traore, the reincarnation of Thomas Sankara President Traore, who has led the struggle to complete the unfinished business that was started by our ancestors and our Pan-African leaders in 1963 when they created the Organization of African Unity. During that meeting, they demanded the creation of an Africa that spoke with one voice, an Africa that was united. That journey is yet to be finished. What is happening in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger, is just the beginning of a revolution that is way past due for Africa. Africa must unite, and Burkina Faso has shown us the way. They have opened the doors. They have shown us that the bully can be defeated. That no more shall we continue to give up our lunch. That we too need to eat. And therefore, there is no negotiating with the bully. The bully had to go, and Burkina Faso showed us how to do it.
Okay, and comments on that? So yeah, they want to add 36 new states. Now they got a whole truckload of Boule Negroes over here in Burkina Faso with Dr. Arakan, right? And then check this out. Can't make this up.
So deadly, it kills up to 90% of those it infects. A disease with no cure, no vaccine, and symptoms so gruesome, they seem straight out of a horror movie.
So this disease right here, the Marlboro, I don't know if anybody heard of it, the Marlboro disease is in Africa, right? 90% of the people that it infected kill them.
This isn't science fiction. This is Marburg disease. And right now, the World Health Organization is sounding the alarm. Confirmed cases are rising and the world is on edge. What is Marburg disease? How did it emerge? And why are experts so worried? In this video, we'll take a deep dive into the latest outbreak, analyze the science behind the virus, and explore what this means for global health. Stay with us. This is a story you don't want to miss. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is Marburg disease? Named after the German city where it was first identified in 1967, Marburg virus disease, MVD, is a severe, often fatal illness caused by the Marburg virus.
Check it out.
It belongs to the same family as Ebola, the Filoviridae family. Both viruses share similar symptoms and high fatality rates, making them some of the most feared pathogens in the world. The Marburg virus is a filamentous, thread-like virus that targets multiple organ systems in the body. It's zoonotic, meaning it jumps from animals to humans. The natural host? The African fruit bat. But once it infects humans, it can spread through direct contact with bodily fluids, contaminated surfaces, or even through close contact with infected individuals. Outbreaks are rare but devastating. The first recorded outbreak occurred simultaneously in Marburg, Germany, and Belgrade, Serbia, among laboratory workers handling infected monkeys from Uganda.
Okay, so how did it get to, it started in Germany, but how did it get to Africa? How did it get in the African back? And how did it get to Uganda? Okay.
Shalom. Yeah, Brother Leonard, I always said that they have been systematically experimenting over in Africa. And when the AIDS came out, a lot of people saying a lot of them little soft Europeans was over there messing around with them Africans.
Right. Exactly. Somebody else got something?
Shalom. I was going to say they have a number of those laboratories and stuff where they actually do their experimentation and stuff. That most of them, I wouldn't say that all of them, but a large majority of them are actually in Africa due to the diversity of the people there. At least that's what they put out there. But a lot of that stuff that they put out there that they're doing, that they're experimenting on trying to kill us off.
Right, exactly. Is that something new? How did they get America?
Right.
See what I'm saying? And so those things are there for a reason.
Yeah.
They got a plan. They already know the plans they have. So it's not just a happenstance. And then, like I said, they told us that 90% of the population gonna be in Africa. So what you gonna do with the African?
Right.
If you coming, we know what they did to the Indian. So yeah. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything that we talked about during the week or something you came across? You want to chop it up?
Brother Leonard. I came across a book.
You kind of low. You low.
Shalom. You said I'm low?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I came across this book, and it's a book about Semyaza and Naamah. And that's what it's saying. It's saying that Semyaza or Semjaza slept with Naamah.
Okay, what's the name of the book?
It's called like the Origin of the Nephilim or something like that. It's a book by a black lady.
Okay. Origin of the Nephilim, right?
Yes, sir. And I'll share it to the group for to get y'all the exact book. But I just thought that was interesting.
Oh yeah. That's good information, man. Yeah, I need to check that out. So yeah, that's crazy. But right. It's and it goes when you find stuff like that, it's like it ties right into the missing links they have in the scriptures. You know, so yeah, well, definitely have to check that out. Okay, anybody else got anything? Yeah, I just want to shine a light on the fact that like I had said before, when the way things unfolding, we can see that it's not going to be the America or the Americans going to release us. But we just read yesterday and the day before, when the book of Nehemiah and Ezra, that Cyrus, in chapter 6 of Ezra, Cyrus, Darius, and Artaxerxes brought the Israelites back from Babylon. The Chaldeans took them now, but Darius, Cyrus, Darius, and Artaxerxes, the Lord hosts used them to deliver us. So why are we waiting on? Why are we looking around at the Americans? And then, like the information that Sarge had brought up the other day, when they left Egypt, they left with gold. Egypt had gold everywhere. They was kicking gold around on the ground. And then when they left Babylon, the Chaldeans and the Medes and Persians had gold everywhere. Well, look what just happened in China. All the gold they just found. And we know how desperately they want America to go down. So all they got to do is offer us the gold. They got a truckload of it. If you're looking at prophecy and the Creator says he changed not, there it is right there. And we already see it out. Look what's up with they're doing over in Burkina Faso. African Americans running over there. They all over. They're leaving here. They're all over the place, all over America. I mean, all over Africa, leaving, going there, back and forth. So it's going down. Okay. So I just wanted to shine a light on it. Go ahead.
So I apologize, sir. Yes, sir. One other thought came up about this administration going after the Department of Justice, and somebody said that thing go back to when J. Edgar Hoover was in there and what all they did to us for so long, and when they did it to Trump. So I don't know. I guess poetic justice balances itself.
Right, exactly. Right, exactly. That's what it is, and they've always knew that. Like I said, they want to act as if they don't know who we are. They always knew who we are. That's why they watch us so closely. And when you start talking about J. Edgar Hoover and the CIA, it was created because of they knew that those dominant black males and the DNA is gonna always pop up, just like Tory, and they know that. So they got systems in place to up to this point to get rid of those dominant males when they do pop up. Okay, that's all the CIA for, right? So with that being said, let me see what I want to do. Yeah, I said I was going to play this video right here. We're going to listen to it, but what I want to do is I want to show you how slick they are with the information. Even to this day, they steady trying to, we steady going in, and the Most High giving us that spirit to get the meat and throw the garbage away, but they steady trying to come and dilute the conversation, dilute the information, and scramble it up. Okay, so let's check this out, and then we're gonna rightly divide it. Okay. Okay.
Biblical text of the Book of Enoch, there's vivid descriptions of multiracial aliens called Anunnaki who went against God and slept with the daughters of men, and they bore great giant offspring.
Now all of a sudden, the Anunnaki is multiracial.
Enoch, who was the great-grandfather of biblical Noah, also known as Zisudra, recounts Noah being albino with blue eyes and a son of Enki.
So Noah named Sutra. So what they're doing is they're taking the mythology and all that that's over there in Mesopotamia, and they mixing it with the book Enoch. Check it out.
The Sumerian water god. Interestingly, the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD chose to exclude this book from the Bible due to its detailed accounts of encounters with alien beings known as the Anunnaki, who interacted with our ancient ancestors. Today, we're going to reveal the complete historical records from the Book of Enoch and the Lost Book of Enki, shedding light on these events from ancient times.
So this ain't nothing new. I I was showing you how did we get JC. They merged the Egyptian Book of the Dead once they came there and conquered the Egyptians, and they conquered us, got our book, Tanakh, and they merged it together, synchronized it. So you got JC. Now right here, they synchronizing Enki, right? Zechariah stitching and all that old story of what happened in Sumner, Mesopotamia, and then mixing it with Enoch, the book of Enoch.
Enoch, a righteous and just man favored by the Lord God Enki, described a time before the first
Lord God Enki
great flood. He witnessed extraordinary events, such as being taken up into the sky in a burning disc or chariot, where he saw the earth as a massive sphere, which in modern terms, this could be interpreted as an experience of being on a spaceship, viewing the planet Earth from beyond its atmosphere. During Enoch's time, humanity was peaceful, offering rituals and sacrifices to both their god and gods. Ritually, these gods accepted the offerings and stored them for later use, thus no longer needing to farm or grow their own food on this planet. The humans could do it for them. Enki, a compassionate, wise but lustrous water god, was left in charge of Earth after his brother Enlil was away off planet. He held great affection for human men and also the daughters they produced. This led to him having relations with Lamech's wife, Betanos. Lamech, the grandson of Enoch.
So this Enki or Enlil had a relationship with Lamech's wife. Let that primate.
Enoch was driven and overjoyed to hear the birth of a son from Betanos. Little did he know the great shock that awaited him. The following verse from Book of Enoch 105 reads, "After a time, my son Methuselah took a wife for his son Lamech. She became pregnant by him and brought forth a child, the flesh of which was as white as snow and red as a rose, the hair of whose head was white like wool and long, and whose eyes were beautiful. When he opened them, he illuminated all the house like the sun. The whole house abounded with light. And when he was taken from the hand of the midwife, opening also his mouth, he spoke to the Lord of righteousness. Then Lamech his father was afraid of him, and flying away came to his own father Methuselah, and said, I have begotten a son, unlike to other children. He is not human, but resembling the offspring of the angels of heaven, is of a different nature from ours, being altogether unlike to us. Enoch's
So if you're not familiar with it, they got a book called the Early Years of Jesus, and the same thing happened with him. Okay.
Fiction in this passage reveals that Noah, also known as Zisudra, possessed the distinctive trait of being an albino. He bore striking physical resemblances to some of messengers and deities, commonly referred to as the Anunnaki. This uniqueness set him apart from other humans, as the descendants of Adam had a dark skin complexion during this time. A pivotal moment arrived when the secret transgressions of the Lord God Enki, laying and sleeping with earth women, was unveiled to the Anunnaki watchers, a law forbidden by their solemn oaths, even by the Prince of Nibiru. These Anunnaki, who toiled as laborers and watchers of men, became aware of the forbidden birth of Noah, Enki's son. The watchers fueling with feelings of envy, rebellion, and jealousy. The culmination of these emotions led the 200 watchers to defy the orders and decrees of God, namely Anu the father and his son Enki. The 200 watchers, led by Semjaza, took oaths to proceed with their plan to mate with human women. The following chapter 3 of the book Enoch reads, And it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of the heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. And Semjaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. then swear they all together and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And they were in all 200, who descended down from heaven in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. And they called it Mount Hermon, because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. The next following passage reads, And all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them, and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms and enchantments, and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless rogue Anunnaki, who married the human women, and taught the children of men forbidden knowledge of the gods. 9 fallen Anunnaki were the heads of this rebellion against their lords. The first was Azazel, who taught men to make swords, and knives, and shields, and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth, and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all of their ways. Semjaza taught enchantments and root cuttings, Amaros the resolving of enchantments, Barakiel taught astrology, Kokabel the constellations, Ezekiel the knowledge of the clouds, Arakiel the signs of the earth, Shamsiel the signs of the sun, and Sariel the course of the moon.
Did you know that?
So what you get out of that? Seem strange to that situation, or what? What you think?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. Now, you know, that came up before about they genetically created humans and okay.
Yeah, they what they trying to say is these are the gods. They're the ones that engineered us. They created us after their image. That's what they're trying to say. They're using the history from so-called what they got off of those cuneiform tablets over in Sumner, right? And they saying they mixing that with Tanakh, the creation story, from what when it was the Lord had written down by all prophets. They merging it with that. They call it Enki the Lord God Enki. So this the thing about it. What, like I was saying before, was crazy. Once your eyes open to who JC is, it's a joke. When somebody tries to defend him, like he's got something to do with us as Israelites. So look at this right here. Somebody that don't know anything about this history, they'll be believing it. They wouldn't be able to rightly divide it. So I don't know if anybody caught that, but he says that Enki was a water god, right? Enlil and Enki was water gods. They came up out the water. So you go back to Book of Adam and Eve when these during the time of Jared, said these beings came up out the water, and they told Jared that the Lord had sent them to get him and take him to their world. They wanted to show them their world, and they appeared to them in the likeness like they looked it, but Jared didn't go. And then, like I said, look at even the Vatican and the whole situation behind the Vatican. Dagon, that's who the Pope is. He's dressing up, emulating Dagon, which is a fish god, a water god. It come out the water. And then you go back to what I had said, that when the flood came, he says it killed everything on dry land. But you had beings that was in the water too. They was right at home when the flood came. So let that from me. Just want to shine a light on that. Anybody got any comments on the video? It's called the Book of Enoch, the Watchers, Noah, the Nephilim, and the Anunnaki. And the channel is Astro Legends. You want to check it out. But yeah, that's what they're doing. They're synchronizing they're synchronizing that information, and they put just like they did with JC, created him and then stuck him in the Old Testament. Now they put Enlil, Enki, and all these Samaritan gods over in the Tanakh. Just like that. Like I said, if somebody that don't know anything about it, they'd be worshiping Enlil like they're doing JC. Okay. Is there something? So, like I said, I'm gonna do a little recap. We're only gonna be on it for about an hour. I'll just do a little recap on what happened this week. We dealt with the sons of Josiah, the last righteous king in Israel before Nebuchadnezzar came. We dealt with how they was used and how they used the story of Josiah and the things that happened to him, how they was able to twist that history around and really take a lot of it out, switch the books around, and then make you think that that was JC that they was talking about in Daniel 9:25, but it wasn't. We deal with how Nehemiah came, fulfilled the part about the wall, rebuilding the wall that's in Daniel 9:25, and then we dealt with how I just talked about it, how it was Cyrus, the Lord of hosts used Cyrus and Darius and Aorus to fulfill his prophecy of delivering the Israelites from Babylon. And so, like I said before, it's nothing. Nehemiah tells you, Ezra will tell you, the hand of my God was on me. So it wasn't nothing for him to worry about. We see the hand of our God was on our Israelites when they came out of Egypt. So it was nothing to be sitting around worried about. When you rightly divide the scriptures and see that they had nothing to worry about. When the time came, he showed up and he did what he had to do, delivered them, brought them out, and a lot of unnatural things started happening, like we're looking at right now. Okay. Any comments or questions? See if somebody want to pick a scripture out, or we can talk about it, chop it up before we go. Okay, let me get one. So what I do is I'm gonna go to Ezekiel chapter 19. Shining a light on that, it's been on my mind. So I'm going to chapter 19 because of, like I was saying before, that's the heart of where all the drama was coming from when you start dealing with the Middle East and the reason why the Egyptian civilization was so profound. Okay. It says, let me see if I'm in the right place. Okay. Maybe Isaiah 19. Let me do. Don't nobody have anything? Want to bring up, talk about? Okay. Isaiah 19. Yeah, here you go. I'm going to read that right quick. So it says, the oracles concerning Egypt, the burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud and shall come into Egypt. See that? The Lord rides upon a swift cloud. That's what he been riding on. That's what David said. He thundered from heaven, right? Says, and shall come into Egypt, the idols of Egypt shall be moved in his presence, and the heart of the Egyptian shall melt in the midst of it. And I will see the Egyptian against the Egyptian. That's how he works. And they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city after city, kingdom after kingdom, right? And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. We're looking at that now, here in America. And I will destroy the council thereof. So this is my point. So what is the council? We're going to see what the council is. Say, destroy the council thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. And the Egyptian will I give over into the hands of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord of hosts. and the waters shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be wasted and dried up, and they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up, and the reeds and the flags shall wither. The paper reeds by the brook, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brook shall wither, be driven away, and be no more. The fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast angles into the brooks shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the waters shall languish. Moreover, they that work in fine flax, and they that weave networks shall be confounded, and they shall be broken in the purposes thereof, all that make slices and puns for fish. Surely, here you go. So this where he's getting his counsel from right here. Surely the princes of Zoan are fools, these giants, right? And they in the city of Zoan, not in Memphis, but surely the princes of Zoan are fools. The counsel of the wise counselors of the Pharaoh, there it is, is become brutish. How say ye unto the Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings? There are they. Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what the Lord of hosts hath imposed upon Egypt. Here you go. The princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Nu are deceived. Zoan and Nu cities, they have also seduced Egypt. So these giants right here, they didn't seduce Egypt. Same way that it's a being that seduced Eve, right? If you're fumbling with that. So even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof, and the Lord made a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man stacking in the streets. We're looking at that right now here in America. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or the tail, the branch or rush may do. In that day shall Egypt be likened unto a woman, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, or which he have determined upon thee. So this how Egypt went down. So these giants, mighty, these supernatural beings, and he brought it down. We don't see no sign of them. So what you think will happen in this place? This is going to be a quick work for the Lord of hosts. Look what he did in Egypt with the 10 plagues. So right here is where they was getting all their counsel from these giants. They was posted up in Zoan. You might want to do the research on this. Notice Zoan, Z-O-A-N, and then the Lord of hosts dwells in Zion. They dwell in Zoan. And so anyway, Zoan, Nu, and Ano, all those cities. If you in history books, you hear about them, but not from this perspective. This is where everything you see, all the history and all that, all the hurrah that you get from Egypt came from here. This is who was controlling Egypt. As soon as when they went down, that's when Egypt went down. Okay. Anybody got any questions or comments before we go?
Shalom. Those giants in Zorn, are they from Mesarine?
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. If you go back to Genesis chapter 10 and verses I think it's 13 all the way to 20. Them all giants. They all in the land of Egypt. So that whole thing about the Nephilim, the giants, and all that, they came from Egypt and then all the way down to the land of Canaan. All that was the region around where Mount Hermon was at. That's where all the giants is at. But a lot of people don't understand that Egypt was awash with giants, and that's how they ended up in the land of Canaan. But it started in Egypt. There were giants all over Egypt. Is there something?
Shalom, I have a question.
Okay.
So if when the flood came and you just mentioned that all of the everything that was on the land was destroyed, how did the
Right.
giants survive? And
That's
then,
all.
some of them were on David's side when David went to war, and then there were the other ones. If they were bad spirits, how did they side with David?
Right. So when you in the book of Enoch and you're reading the book of Enoch before the flood, I was telling you who Melchizedek was,
Right.
and then it says that it was you reading it, but a lot of people don't understand what's being conveyed. So it says that Canaan, we're just gonna say Canaan, the third man from Adam, says he ruled over people. He reigned over mankind. And so when they say son of man, he's not talking about Adam's descendants. Just like we saw.
Right.
So Canaan is pretty much the knowledge that he's getting, because they don't, or Adam's descendants are the only one dealing with the angels. So when they get information from these holy angels that's being sent out from heaven, Enoch is giving all that to all the rest of the people on earth.
The sixth-day man.
Yeah, sixth-day man, the giants too. He didn't remember when Enoch told them he was gonna ascend into heaven. Yeah, and they had been dealing with him a long time. All different types of people. Cain descendants, giants, all that following Enoch to that place where he ascended at. So Enoch was teaching a lot of people. It was giants being converted over, getting an understanding of who the Most High was and his laws and his statutes. And then when you get to Abraham, we see Abraham had 200 and something with him. That's how you get the ones that had that spirit on them. David had 33 with him. He had put that. They had submitted, and Most High caused them to submit to David or whoever it was at the time, Jared and Noah. They submitted to him because they received the knowledge that was given to them by at the time Melchizedek, whoever it might have been at the time. But they were teaching not only their descendants, they teaching the whole anybody that would come to listen to what they had to say. And that's how you get there. But the part about the giants after the flood was, it says that those 200 angels not only start sleeping with animals too, right? So they were sleeping with animals in the water, like you just said. Dagon, a water guard, and Enoch. They had. That's why you see them, the mermaids, and they got what his name, Poseidon. He had man, had fish, all that. That was in the ocean. So when the flood came, they was at home. They had a picnic because they was beings that existed in the water. And then when you go to history, you see that, like I said with the Pope, they say that a being came up out the water in Italy, in that area, and taught them, gave them super knowledge, unnatural knowledge. And Ink and Enlil, all of them came up out of the water. You hear that in history all over the place where they saying these beings came up out the water and enlightened them. And then when you look at it, we can't exist there. That's how they're able to exist outside of our world, because we can't go to the depths. We can't deal with the sea and the bottom of the sea. The ocean it's way more space under the oceans than there it is on land. That's where they is. That's where the ships, these so-called spaceships, coming from. They're coming out from the depths of the sea, where we can't go. Okay, that's me talking. Anybody got anything else they want to talk about before we go?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. And what about Japhet being the giant and then his children? He also is passing that seed along too, right?
Right. Yeah. For me, like I was saying, it was him that slept with Noah's wife, not Ham. So that's where coming from. Japhet and his lineage, they started spreading after the flood. That angelic DNA. When you look at it, you know what I'm saying. When you look at it, you can see that. And they tell you all over indirectly when you read. They tell you that the Canaanites was of a Caucasian appearance. Anybody ever heard that?
Right, yes, sir. The curse of Canaan, right? When Noah cursed Canaan.
Right. They was of Caucasians and mulatto and all that, but their origins was the Most High, the Lord of Hosts, cursed them. He cursed Cain, took the melanin out of him. And so you know what he did with the angels? He cursed them too. And then they tell you about these so-called beings. That's why they're making them white. In all the movies you see, these so-called engineers that engineered the earth and created humans, they tall, but they albinos with no wings. Their wings, Dracula, his wings dried up on his back. Okay, yeah. So, everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, like I said, I see everybody on Tuesday for our Israelite Bible study. I'm gonna say shalom, and another shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
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 I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament and Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is and the Godhead.